Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Tarot Tea Time. So, in this episode, we are doing a reaction, astrology investigation, tarot tea reading for Camila Cabello's Godspeed. This is a part two to the, I guess this is turning into like a Sabrina, Shawn Mendez, Camila Cabello love triangle like trilogy. Although I think there will be more videos because this just keeps getting more and more intense, more interesting. And honestly, I just watched the music video again for like the millionth time before getting on here. And I absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful, authentic, amazing. I talked about in the part one how I thought that this song, and she actually ended up releasing a few songs, but this song to me, this was the first one that came out. And this to me is like the most authentic Camila song where you can tell she's really just sharing a deeper part of herself that she doesn't always share in her music. And I think this is exactly how she really feels. And it actually made me really emotional because it's a beautiful song. And when you see the music video, you can really see just how much she means what she's saying. You can see the pain, you can see the frustration, you can see the letting go. So, this all coincides with the Virgo new moon. And that's what I was predicting in the part one, that this song would finally be like this new version of Camila, or not new, but like the more authentic version of like where she's at right now, like her current truth, not just like the escapism or, trying to show us an image, like that this Godspeed song was going to be about how she really feels and what she's been through lately with Shawn, and just a full circle moment. That Virgo new moon fell in her fifth house of romance and creativity, creative projects. So this is like the new chapter. And I see this trend continuing for her of this authenticity. And I think that this is where she really shines. I personally love this. And yeah, it made me emotional. And I think that it's also an interesting choice that she released this song and that in the cover, she's wearing this color blue, which I'm wearing in honor of the song, but also that's the same color as we see on Sabrina Short and Sweet. So there's a lot that she's communicating here. I really do think, like I said in part one, that she's telling her side of the story, which needs to be told. Basically, she and Sabrina are two sides of the same coin. I feel like they were both very confused by the situation, and then, I was doing a little more digging, and then I was watching some Shawn interviews, and then I felt even more sad because, like, I'm a glass case of emotion, you guys, because I was like, and he's actually so sweet and he has such good intentions as well. And he was growing up in the spotlight. Like, watch his documentary Wonder, if you haven't seen it yet, or if you want to like, kind of get to know him a little bit more. And there's a lot going on here. Okay. There's a lot going on. So we are going to get into it. I'm actually not editing this video because in a few hours we are headed to the airport to go to Aruba, my home away from home. You guys know how much I love Aruba. It is on my Mercury line, and it's Virgo season. I'm a Virgo sun, and I also have my Mercury in Virgo, and it always feels like home to me. The slogan is one happy island, and I'm always so happy when I'm there. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic, but this isn't really going to be edited. It's just going to be kind of like stream of consciousness. So let's get into it. Okay. Guys, this is a lot. So sorry, I'm being so dramatic. Okay. Where do we start? Do we start with the lyrics or do we start with the astrology? Let's start with the astrology and then we'll bring in the lyrics to back it up. So Shawn and Camila, their astrology is very complicated. I have looked at his astrology. We really don't have any idea of what his birth time is. So we can only get so much information with any degree of certainty about his placements. But what we can say is that, we're able to see at least his sun sign, we're able to see his Chiron, and a couple of other little things. His North Node, his South Node. And what strikes me the most about Shawn and Camila and the aesthetics of, first of all, this song in particular, Godspeed. The song really like happens in the ocean and she's like underwater. That is Pisces South Node. Shawn also has Pisces South Node. I'm telling you guys, they have past life astrology. They have a past life connection. This is not the first time that they've done this. You cannot deny it. And actually, she even says that because the lyrics of Godspeed. We're living in a ghost world. We're living in a past life. Okay, confirmation. Okay, and this is the part that makes me cry a little bit. So I'm not gonna cry, but I got a little teary earlier. If everything could stay the same, wouldn't it be nice? But you know me, I always know just when to leave. When the night is past its peak, and I hope you find some peace. Godspeed, 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 Godspeed. Okay. When she is saying when the night is past its peak, she's talking about a party or whatever. I feel like she's talking about how sometimes in astrology, we will have a past life connection with someone, and then we make a contract to fulfill that relationship, fulfill that experience with each other in a future life. So, for example, let's say, you know, these two people got together and it was during a time when there was like a war going on. And these two people were so in love and they got married. And and the man in the couple goes off to war and they write each other letters. And the woman is just waiting and waiting and pining. And the man is doing the same thing, pining. And they're just waiting for when they will finally get to be together. And then sadly, he is killed while he is in action. She receives a letter letting her know that he is not coming home, and her heart is broken and shattered, and she never lets go of this love. Likewise, with the man's last breath and with the last thought in his mind, he holds an image of the person that he loves, and all he wants to do is be with that person, and that is, the image that he has when he leaves this world. Their spirits are in this state of, being so in love, and love conquers all, right? Love conquers, you know, death, love conquers anything, including death, especially according to past life astrology. So that is the kind of energy that is so intense that could create, in my opinion, a past life contract that is solidified where the two people say, okay, we will meet up in the next life so that we can fulfill that part of the story. So when people meet, if they have I've just got goosebumps. So confirmation, when people meet in the current life and they had that sort of experience in a past life, it is an instantaneous deep love. There is nothing lighthearted about it because the two souls, even though the human beings, even though the ego, that exists is like, okay, I need to slow down, or this is, like there is a consciousness that we all have that's like, "Well, okay, I need to pump the brakes. Like, why am I so in love with this person immediately?" But it's like that immediate connection. It's what some people also call love at first sight. But this is like an intense soul knowing. And if you watch that documentary, Wonder, the documentary just kind of refreshed my mind because I did watch it when it came out and it really touched my spirit. Something about them really just, it's always spoken to me because I think it's a true, pure love. I think that's why it speaks to a lot of us. That's why everybody is always requesting readings on them. I think we all feel that true love. So in the documentary, there is this one scene where Shawn is talking about how he is, battling against his ego and he's stressed out and how he just has to remember that he doesn't have to be perfect and that even if people knew the real him, it's not even about that. It's about him being a musician and loving the music. And he's just sharing, his deepest thoughts, very Pisces South node. This the fish swimming in two opposite directions. So that was him in a past life as well, because he's moving towards his Virgo North node. And in this scene, they're sitting together, two Pisces South nodes are sitting together and they're taking a nice deep breath. And it's like they get each other. It is like they get each other. They're like, I see you. I get you. We have the same South node. We are letting go of the same things and we are working towards the same things. They were so in alignment in that moment. And then what starts to happen, not with every single South node connection or past life connection, but what happens a lot of the time is that once the two people get together, they're real people, right? And then they have a lot of other lessons to learn too, but their souls find that satisfaction in finally getting to experience that love. But because it was from a past life, it's not really appropriate for this lifetime anymore. There are obviously exceptions, but if you look at a lot of South Node astrology or past life astrology, this is really what the literature says, that people will have that intensity. It's a soul lesson. It's an experience that they wanted to have, that they were here to, partially to experience. But then once they have that experience, they're also here to continue to evolve as spirits and as souls and to learn more things and to move towards their North Node. And so it can be hard to hold on to the relationship that was rooted in a past life and in a past person that you really are not in this life. You're in a new ego, in a new set of circumstances with new goals and dreams and challenges to overcome. So a lot of the time the energy will eventually dissipate. And it's very confusing, excuse me. It's very confusing for the two people because they were so in love. The love is still there, it doesn't go away, but their current life circumstances in this life, it's just not working anymore. It's just not working, and they don't understand why. And so that's what some people call twin flames, soulmates, past life contracts. All of these to me can be pretty interchangeable. And with them, I think that's why they keep coming together, moving apart. Shawn said that he wrote like his whole album Wonder about Camila, that every love song about a person was about Camila. Like this is the past life longing that like that transcends all. I mean, this isn't just like a normal, just love. Like it's not. I mean, look at the other people who have written songs. Like Justin Bieber didn't say every single song he ever wrote was about one person. Well, I think at one point it's probably about Selena. But anyway, I digress. You can just tell that this is very serious, that he really means it. He really felt these things, and that they both struggled in the very beginning to acknowledge how deep their feelings were for each other. And they were very young when they met, but they even talk about, in interviews how it was like slow going. Like first they were just friends, and then he apparently had a crush on her, but he never told her because he didn't want to be rejected. And instead he wrote these songs about her. You got to see the documentary. Anyway, long story short, this is what I think. This is the vibe I get. And this is why I felt so emotional when I watched Godspeed, because this is her shedding that past life. Oh my God, I just got goosebumps. And the Virgo new moon that occurred the same week that she released this song, I mean, that really to me is symbolic, and not even symbolic. It's like a very clear astrology in the wild moment where we see her having a new moon where she has released her Pisces South node, which Shawn is a part of that. Look at all the water imagery that he has in all like so many of his music videos. That's also why I think she chose to do this in the water, because not only is it reminiscent of Shawn and like an Easter egg about that it's really referring to Shawn, but also, oh my God, there's so much here, but also because she is a Pisces South node, and Pisces energy is about the emotions, and it's sort of drowning in emotions. And we see her going underwater, and then we see her screaming, and then we see her, and this maybe I'm going too far, or maybe I'm right on it. We see her at the end in this sparkly silver dress that looks exactly like what Ariel in The Little Mermaid wears. And remember how Ariel in The Little Mermaid, she ended up choosing to be on land? That's also very Virgo North Node, which is what she is here to do. She's here to live in her Virgo North Node. That's what this lifetime is about. Her past life and her childhood, which is sometimes lingering energy really from your past life, and you're learning about your new, this lifetime. It's like that's your transition period, like childhood, you're transitioning from the past life to this life and to your North Node in adulthood. This to me looks like her passage into her Virgo North Node, her adulthood. She's getting her, her legs, she is getting out of the water, and that's why the lyrics are so sad because they're so real. It's like she's expressing what it feels like to let go of a past life love because that cycle is over. And now it's time for her Virgo North Node. Now, I think that this was painful because the process of letting go is always the most painful. However, once you let go, you are now fully rooted in a new chapter. And this new chapter is about her life now, who she's meant to be in this lifetime. So I think we're going to see her really start to have a complete I have goosebumps all over my face. Like this is just such confirmation to me. We're going to see her have a such a successful career because it's going to be rooted in her her authenticity now. We find our biggest success in this lifetime when we lean into our north nodes. That's really the only way to do it. Like you can get some success from the south node, but it will never be long lasting if you don't bring your north node into it. And I could go on and on about that. I mean, that's another series in and of itself. I love north node astrology. I feel like it is one of the most helpful tools that we have when it comes to our birth charts because it really does encourage us and tell us which direction we're supposed to be going. And it can also help us realize why we had to let go of certain things or people or situations. But it's also very beautiful. I let you go and I feel more like me. This part actually made me happy. Never mind. I let you go and I feel more like me. This is her choosing herself. This is her choosing her Virgo North node. This is a rite of passage. We all have to experience this in one way or another when it comes to transitioning into our North node. We have to let go of the old habits, the people, the situations, the energies of the past life and move fully into this life and embrace the now. You can't live in the past. You can't live in the ghost world, which she's talking about. And then she says, I wish you well, but far away from me. Godspeed, Godspeed. And that's what you have to do to let go of someone. Oh my God, I can't. So, Sean's astrology, like I said, we don't know a ton because we don't have his birth time, but we do know another interesting fun fact about him, which is that his Chiron is in Scorpio. So is Camila's, by the way. Another past life thing. Like they were meant to have the kind of love that breaks you open by hurting you. And Scorpio also does transform things through pain. I know it's very intense, but that is part of their path. And it's beautiful, but definitely painful. So for Sean, if we look at what we do know about him, we know that his Chiron is in Scorpio and his Saturn is in Taurus. He also has that same Virgo North node. Now, what's interesting is that his Chiron is opposite his Saturn. Okay, so that already is a point of tension. So he is having to transform his Chiron energy, transform his wound into healing. And when that's opposite Taurus, it feels very uncomfortable. Saturn in Taurus makes you work really hard. So when Saturn's opposite anything that is a more difficult, challenging placement, I feel like it just means that you have to put even more work in to overcome it. So I do think that when he talks about, the psych, because Scorpio is very psychological, Chiron in Scorpio is extremely psychological. It requires a lot of intense transformation. And with Scorpio being a water sign and having a Pisces South node, I do see that drowning in emotion is something that he's really, truly working through. And so, I have a lot more empathy for him when I see this. Also, something interesting that he is so interested in Taurus women. Let's talk about it. Okay. Camila, Taurus rising, Sabrina, Taurus sun. This influencer that he has been dating, well, I creeped on her Instagram a little bit and I saw that she actually has a Taurus tattoo. And then I looked up her birthday. Yeah, I had to do some investigative journalism. And I looked up a birthday post and she, in fact, confirmed that she is a Taurus. What does that mean? Well, he seeks out Taurus women to help him do the work of healing. He's got to be careful with that because the Taurus relationships are going to be the most painful for him. First of all, because Taurus is opposite his Chiron in Scorpio, which basically means that these relationships poke his wound. It's like it forces him to grow, forces him to look at himself. It brings up the trauma and whatever the Scorpio energy is just by simply interacting with them. It causes tension and forces him to heal, which can be good and transformative, obviously. That's why this is happening, but it's very unpleasant. So we can tell that he's also in a phase of healing because he's attracting so many Taurus women and is very attracted to Taurus women. Now, when he heals a little bit more, maybe he'll be more interested in, women with more Cancerian energy because he has his Venus in Cancer. I don't know. We'll see. But that's just something very interesting that I've noticed. Also, it would be good for him to be with a Virgo because that's his North node. He needs people with a little bit more structure, probably. But I digress. Saturn and Taurus as well. When you are attracted to people with, placements that are conjunct your Saturn. I mean, these are challenging. Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn, for example, had, I think it was a Venus Saturn conjunction, like 99.9% sure that's what it was. But they had some Saturn conjunction that was very, I mean, it shows you that these people are going to challenge you. Not super romantic. I mean, it's really not. And it's not that you can't make something work with someone that has a prominent, conjunction with a Saturn placement, either yours or theirs, but it's challenging. Saturn is the taskmaster, it's hard edges. Love really flourishes more with energy that is Venus energy or, the sun. Think, warmth, softness. Get a little bit of Mars energy in there is good too. Keep it spicy, but because that creates like the magnetism. But Chiron, Saturn, in the love life, I mean, that's pretty intense. Another thing I noticed about Camila's birth chart is that her Chiron in Scorpio is in her seventh house of romantic relationships and partnerships. So that's another reason why I think that this relationship in particular was so incredibly impactful and so transformative and really, I think, integral to her growing up, to her having this rite of passage and discovering who she is as a person because we don't know where Sean's Chiron is in his birth chart, but we do know that because they both have the same Chiron placement in Scorpio, and this falls in Camila's seventh house, we do know that they at least have a seventh house connection in Camila's chart. So that means healing through and transformation through painful experiences, breaking down and rebuilding in the house of love and relationships. That's really difficult. That means you're going to have the most growth in your relationships. And that's for Camila. I don't know. Maybe Sean also has his in the seventh house. We just don't know because we don't know his birth time. But it's a lot, okay? It's a lot. It's heavy. It makes sense why they have all of this sadness and turmoil. I don't think it's PR one bit. And let's pull a few cards to get the tarot tea on Sean and Camila before, my heart just breaks in two from watching this and exploring this. Um, but honestly, Godspeed. I do hope that they both heal and reach for their Virgo North node, find that sense of organization in their lives and learn to detach a little bit emotionally. That would be really helpful. Also, before we actually pull a card, I want to look at one last thing with Camila. She has an Aries 12th house containing Saturn, and her sixth house is in Libra with Mars. Very interesting. Okay, so okay, when we talk about healing, I always like to look at the 12th house and the sixth house because the 12th house is like psychological processes, the things that are underneath the surface, our self undoing, self sabotaging habits. We can find out a lot about our pain through looking at the 12th house and the habits that we exhibit when we're triggered from 12th house themes. It also can give us a little bit more information on a past life. And then the sixth house, this is like our day to day responsibilities, our day to day life, the way that we move through life. And when we find a balance between the sixth house and the 12th house, that's really like the healthiest way to live. You don't want to be too extreme in either one. It's like balancing the physical, the material, the physical body, your health and wellness, sixth house with your psychology, psychological processes, your spirituality. So it's very much about, one foot on the earth and one foot in, spirit. And that balance is important. So for sixth house Libra, 12th house Aries, her sixth house contains Mars. So she's someone that's probably on the go a lot. Libra, this is beauty and, relationships, partnerships. Having a sixth house in Libra, she really likes to be with someone day to day. Mars, this is like busy. So she probably likes to do things with other people a lot. The 12th house in Aries, this is more of like a loner energy and containing Saturn. This is having to work really hard to develop your Aries energy. So she's probably found it difficult at times to find her own sense of self and independence. And when she's doing like, a self undoing kind of cycle, she can either be too independent or she can be probably too codependent. So this is like her finding herself. It's very important. Also, sixth house Libra containing Mars, she could attract fights, like fights with people, disagreements with people, Libra energy. And so she has to be really careful that she doesn't end up in volatile situations or a lot of fighting in her relationships, especially with, the tendency to have the transformation sometimes in a painful way with Chiron in the seventh house. So, it's a lot, but she also has a lot of good things going on in her birth chart. 10th house Aquarius, Jupiter and Uranus. The she's about to have Pluto in her 10th house of Aquarius for the next 20 years. So that's starting at like the end of November, conjunct Jupiter and Uranus. So I'm telling you guys, this is her new phase. It's coming. This is the buildup. We are finally seeing like a little sneak peek, a glimpse of the performer, the woman, the artist that she is going to be. And over the next 20 years, she's going to come into her own. Pluto is power, and she's going to have that power in her 10th house of career and recognition and Aquarian themes. Yeah, with Jupiter and Uranus there, she's gonna surprise us. She's going to expand, get bigger, Jupiter and Pluto, that's power. She's gonna be very powerful. I love it. I think it's really good. She has a great transit, great transits coming up. I just think that this has been hard. This has been a hard time for her. She's grown a lot, and I think that we really haven't seen the beginning of the true healing and like the self that's emerging, the phoenix rising. The phoenix rising is associated with Scorpio. So for her to have phoenix rising energy out of the seventh house of partnerships, like she's having right now with the new moon in her north node, like on her north node, like this really is, yeah, this is it. This is her moment. This is the moment. This is when the butterfly comes out of the little cocoon. She's no longer the caterpillar. Okay. That's all. Let's pull some cards. As you guys can see, I'm just like obsessed with all of this. When you see a moment like this, a couple like this, astrology in the wild moment, it's hard not to just want to dive so deeply into all of it because it's fascinating. I will give Camila a reading whenever she wants. Camila, if you happen to see this, DM me. I will give you a reading. I've got you, girl. I mean, the past life of it all, past life astrology of it all. So interesting. Okay, so oh, they're already jumping. Okay. I was gonna move this one, but I'm gonna take it because it's just jumping. And this is just, I don't know. I just want to see what comes through, what kind of message comes through about Camila. So, okay, so I got the Page of Pentacles here, and this is a new beginning in career. Virgo new moon energy. I'm telling you, this is the start of a new era. I really like this because this is also talking about more luck and abundance when it comes to money, making money, and success. She is at the beginning of a new chapter, of a new journey. The Page of Pentacles, something brand new. She has a new spark of inspiration too. I love it. Okay. What else? Let's see. Ooh, 10 of Swords. It's really over. You guys, I'm telling you, Godspeed. Godspeed. Okay. Yeah. The 10 of Swords, you guys. Wow. It's really over. It's really over. We're not going to see them get back together again. We're not going to ever see any rumors again of them together or like, will they or won't they? It's really done. It's really done. She meant it. That song was real. That song was her goodbye letter to Shawn. I just got goosebumps confirmation. That was her final goodbye. And instead of, talking to him in person because they can't get on the same page, instead of sending him a text message or talking to him on the phone and getting sucked back into the whole thing, she was like, I'm just going to make this music video for him. He will know based on the themes, he will know based on the words that I use. And this was her goodbye. It is so, wow. It's really done. She's never going to go back again. She's ended that karmic cycle. It's bigger than just a relationship. She's ended that karmic cycle. Oh, by the way, alleged for entertainment purposes only. I always forget to say that. Okay, let's see. Anything else for Camila? We'll pull a card for Shawn and see how he felt. And then we'll pull a card for Shawn and see how he felt after seeing that music video for the first time. Anything else for Camila? I think also we see that the depth of her connection with Shawn versus Sabrina's connection with Shawn is just very different, which we knew that, but with Sabrina, it was like more of a superficial heartbreak, like someone that you really had a crush on and it was intense and it felt very real. And that is a certain type of heartbreak, and that's very valid. And then Camila's is like this past life energy that this person that she's so in love with that takes her back down into her Pisces South node of just like confusion and delusion. And you just can't live in the past life for your past life forever. Eventually, you have to wake up and embrace this life. And it's just it's a very hard process. So it's just different. They're very different situations. Okay, let's see. Anything else for Camila? The Hanged Man reverse. For so long, she was in this Hanged Man energy of should I get back with him? Should I not? There was a lot of confusion. And finally, the Hanged Man is reversed. She has finally found clarity with that Virgo new moon. She's finally found clarity. She's finally out of the confusion and the Neptunian energy and the dreamy illusions of her very deep and emotional Pisces South node. She's found her clarity at last. I love that. That is so beautiful and good for her. How did Shawn feel when he saw the music video? Allegedly, entertainment purposes only. How did Shawn feel when he saw Godspeed? Eight of Pentacles. Oh, it inspired him to work. Are they just going to go back and forth doing songs? Probably, actually. I think they would. I don't think they're gonna be speaking anymore in person or, like I said, over the phone or via text. I think that they're gonna communicate through their work because I do think she even mentions something about being able to forgive the muse, and I think that that's what they're gonna use this experience for now. I think that it'll always be special to them, but I definitely think they're gonna use it to work and to inspire love songs and sad songs and transformation songs, and that's great. Maybe that's part of what this the purpose of this all was, or that's just a great way to channel the energy. But Eight of Pentacles, he was like, I'm getting back in the studio. I have something to say back. That'll be interesting. I know he is releasing a new album, I think in October. There will be a response. There will be a response. Okay. How else did Shawn feel? Allegedly. The Chariot, Mars energy. I don't think it's going to work, Shawn, because we pulled the Ten of Swords. She's really done. I think that the motivation for going back into the studio to make a response song and video is to go after her, wanting to get her back, which he always wants to. This is part of the South Node thing. I don't think he's come to the place where she is at yet. I think he will. But the Chariot is there are two men on here and there's a woman. And this is, represents moving quickly. This represents Mars energy. I think he wanted to go and get her when he saw that. I mean, oh, jeez. He wanted to go and get her. She's really done though. But that was just his instinct. He wanted to go and get her. And the thought of her being with somebody else, there's two men on here, just like breaks his heart. And so I think that seeing this, it just triggered that South Node love. Like, I got to go get her. He's in the process. He's still in the process of learning to let go of this. He'll get there, but it's just tough. So that was part of the motivation to create the response song. I think it's really hard for him to let go. I think it's really hard for her to let go too. Pisces South Node, you can't blame him. I mean, it's the dreamiest, the most romantic, watery, and it just keeps pulling you down into the depths of your emotion. So it's a hard thing to deal with. And for them to both have the same placements in such similar astrology, it's like, wow. Okay, anything else about Shawn's feelings or just anything, I guess anything else about them? Anything else about them as a couple and their purpose in each other's lives? Let's end on a little positivity. Their purpose in each other's lives. What did they help one another learn? How did they help each other grow? Oh, so many cards. So they're like Knight of Swords, clarity. Guys, oh my God, Virgo North Node. Virgo is about communication associated with Mercury. and both of them having a Virgo North node, moving from a lot of emotionality and creativity and dreaminess that's otherworldly in the South node, and moving towards clarity of thought, mental processes, communication that is more straightforward and more grounded in this reality. That's just their path. They helped each other to get there. Knight of Swords, swords in the tarot are about communication. Virgo's communication. You can't make this stuff up. Astrology in the wild. They helped each other with that. They pushed each other towards their North node in Virgo. Both of them pushed one another to find more clarity. I think they helped each other realize that being this emotional and living in those themes from a past life is not working. It's not healthy. It doesn't make them happy. And in a roundabout way, doing that inspired both of them to naturally reach for their Virgo North Node themes, which is what they're here to do based on their birth chart. Okay. Wow. And for Camila, her North Node in Virgo is in the fifth house. So that's more creativity, but this is more of her expressing herself in a more Virgo way, messages that are healing and feminine and about her feminine experience. Wow. Virgo's like the goddess and the strong woman, the maiden. Virgo has a lot of different, there's a lot of lore behind Virgo. I should do something to get into that at one point and maybe share some of those stories. But okay, we're going to leave it there because to me, this is confirmation that this relationship was about helping them move to their North Node. And that's what we wanted to know. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Wow, this was just one of those. And I always feel like this when I read their chart. This is just one of those things that is very profound, and it shows the depth of astrology and just how much it can help us to understand and make sense of things in our world, and also why some experiences just feel so deep and profound in comparison to other experiences that feel a little more, surface or kind of come and go. Yeah, there's truth to the astrology of it all. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching and being here. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one.